while we're really enjoying this conversation and I don't want to bring it to a pause, but I would like to open up the floor to audience questions at this point.
Okay, my question is that why we do puja or any kind of ritual into our Hindu religion or those kind of thing?
Why does somebody do puja?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you brush your teeth every day in the morning? No, I'm just asking. You do? Why? Okay. So you understand that. There are many people, for a long time in the history of humanity, they never brushed their teeth. Yes or no? In previous generations of people, by the time you're 40, 45, most people lost their teeth. And it was perfectly normal. You're 50 and you still have all your teeth was a big surprise. Yes, it was 2 generations ago. So today everybody has their teeth intact because everybody's taking care of those things. We are glad, because it's not only for their well-being, for our well-being also. Similarly, I don't know what kind of puja you're talking about. I am not the puja kind, so I wouldn't make a very sweeping comment on that. But generally, people evolved processes to fix themselves in so many different ways. For teeth, they had this, for their mind, they had one kind of thing, for their emotions, they had another kind of thing. Like this, they evolved processes. If for generations somebody is doing it, it must have worked to some extent at least. Is it absolutely working? Maybe not. But is it worked in some way? Yes. Just because you brush your teeth, does it mean to say you will never go to the dentist? You still go. So just because you do puja, does it mean to say you will never get a problem? You still get. But a lot of things managed by simple processes. Questioning it from outside, thinking this is ignorance, this is this, this is that, is not right, because like this, I'm not the puja kind, I can't defend that because I don't do it myself. I must admit now, in my entire life, never once in my life have I ever prayed. Never prayed. I never did that because such a need never arose within me that I need to pray for something. So I'm not the right person, but I have seen certain rituals which are powerful, which is making a huge difference for people, or they should not be destroyed. They are very important because people brought much well-being within themselves, around themselves by doing certain things. Right now, when I sit here, you might have noticed that I'm doing a simple process with myself. Why is this? See, to do different types of activity in our lives, our energies need to be focused differently. Let's say, because you took the microphone, let's say you want to sing. You will see singers, good ones, I'm talking about those who have invested their life into music. You will see before they sing they're preparing, they have their own little ritual, something of their own, each person might have developed their own. Or if you're in India, they may have a traditional ritual which they do before they sing. And this keeps his voice, his well-being, more than anything. To sing, the maximum amount of your energy should be in your throat. If it's in your hand at that time, it's not going to help. To perform different types of activities beyond certain level of competence, you need your energies focused. Why do you think one human being is able to do a certain activity so well, another person just can't do it? Simply because their energies are focused that way either naturally or by training. An athlete, before he runs, he's doing his own little ritual so that he doesn't get his cramps and this and that. That's his own ritual. If he doesn't do that ritual, can he not run? Maybe he will run. Maybe he will still run, but he knows to perform beyond a certain limit, certain amount of preparation definitely helps. So like this, people evolve different kinds of rituals. There are very powerful ritualistic processes. The problem with the ritual is just this. The problem with the ritual is not the ritual itself. The problem with the ritual is the integrity of the people who conduct these rituals, which is a serious issue. Because integrity is at a certain low in the world generally, rituals can become very problematic because they have a certain power about them. There are two ways to bring well-being. See, we are on the yogic path. For us, well-being is all internally organized. We don't depend on any ritual, whatever. But is everybody capable of doing this, investing their life for their internal growth, managing it well from within themselves? No. People need a ritual. 100 people are sitting here, they're not able to do things by themselves, so you do some common process for all of them. Something that they cannot do by themselves, you try to impact them in a certain way so that they benefit. If they could do everything internally, no need for any ritual. I have no need for any ritual in my life. But is everybody like that? No. Initially when I was young, I refused to make any kind of even smallest ritual available to anybody because I was young and little cruel. I said, you better work for your well-being. Why should I do anything for you? But slowly I see there are many people who will never take that level of commitment to work for their own well-being. You have to do something to them. So now we do certain things, minimizing it, keeping it at the minimum, but if people need something, we do something. But the basic focus is, the best thing is your well-being comes from within you, because that way you're free. If your well-being comes from me, in some way you unnecessarily become leaning on me. We don't want this, but those who need a crutch, shall we tell them, pull off the crutch and say, walk right now? Shall we do that? That would be very cruel, isn't it? So rituals are there. Ritual is not the problem. The integrity of the people who conduct the ritual is a serious problem. That is what we need to attend to. Don't throw the baby with the bathwater. Bathwater has become dirty, but the baby needs to be rescued.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. First I'd like to start by saying that thank you for everything that you have done. I've taken your inner engineering course a while back and it has done amazing things to me. I always thought that in order to be spiritually liberated, you need to find yourself a guru. And in the process of doing so, I've traveled to, I guess, Nepal and India looking for a guru. I've read an article that you published online where you've said that how do you know when you find your guru? And you've mentioned that if you meet someone who almost threatens you and you want to leave, but at the same time there's something that brings you back to this person, then you found your guru. Like, can you have multiple gurus, or how do you know you're on the right path that, hey, this is working for me and I should be doing this?
Isn't he asking this question to the wrong person? See, first and foremost thing is, when somebody is saying something, okay, you listen to them. Don't believe them. You must listen carefully, but don't have to believe. You must look at them carefully. Whatever they're talking, has it worked for them? If it's worked for them, obviously they know what they're talking. So you must take. So, is this my ultimate guru? Is he going to take to the end? Let's see, let's go one step at a time. You don't know what is ultimate, isn't it? If he helps you with the present level of your limitations, let's go to the next step and see what the hell he can do. If he does something meaningful, stay, otherwise go. Hello? So, don't think in those terms. See, every year I'm trekking in Nepal and Tibet. Here there is one Sherpa guiding me. He's an illiterate fellow, all right? But on the mountain, if there are two ways and I want to go this way, he won't say, Sadhguruji, please come like this. He'll say, I just go that way, He treats me like I'm his mule or something. But I just follow him, because there you better follow him. You understand? Because the simple thing is this, he knows the terrain, you don't know the terrain. The same goes here. If you think somebody knows the terrain, you take instructions. If you think they don't know the terrain, don't stay there, why are you wasting your time? Isn't it? So the simple way to find out is that I'm saying something. You must look at me carefully. Has it really worked for me first? Or am I talking some scripture to you? If you think it's worked for me, you must hang on. If you think it's not worked for me, you shouldn't waste another moment with me.
So I've been watching your videos for quite some time, and you've made an interesting comment that when you think of God, most people think of him as an old man sitting up there with a big beard, passing
You talking about me? With an old beard sitting up here? Tell me further.
And so my question was, I was curious to understand what in your definition would be God.
See, the reason why in every culture people have come up with their own concept of God. Every culture has a different concept of God, but everybody has come up with some concept of God. Because they have no explanation for creation, isn't it? Hello? You came out of your mother's womb and looked around, too much creation. You know you didn't do it. Then you looked up to your mother, maybe she did it. Well, she delivered you, but she did not deliver the planet, you know that. Then you looked at your father, no, not him. You looked at every other adult around you, nobody looked like competent enough to make all this happen, isn't it? Yes or no? There's not one person here who looks like he's competent to create this whole creation around us. So the simplistic conclusion is, there is a big man sitting up there. Oof, I fit the description, at least the Western description I fit, in the India I don't fit. But now there is an argument. There's a big argument in the United States churches, is God a man or a woman? The last election they tried to settle that issue. Didn't work that way. So, your ideas of God are essentially cultural in nature. You know Idi Amin? You heard of Idi Amin? You know, Uganda man? Not Tanzania, but in Africa. Idi Amin declared God is black. I agree with him. I agree with him. Because if a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? So this argument also is going on, particularly in the US churches. They tried to settle that in the previous election. But in India, we know God is brown. Especially Indians who live outside of India are very proud of this because, we know what God looks like because He Himself visited India 9 times. You don't know this? Hello? 9 times He Himself visited. To other places He sent His son, His messenger. Indians are very proud of this. To other places only messengers and sons went, to India He Himself came. I keep reminding them, that is because God wouldn't trust anybody else with Indians. He wanted to do the job hands-on with Indians. So He Himself came not once, 9 times. And He failed. 9 or 10 times we can debate, but failure you cannot debate, isn't it? Obviously He failed, what do you think?
It's
With
a
the Indians.
perspective that we can take. He maybe didn't do the best job, yeah, but but he was good. He created you, me, so many of us.
Yes, but coming hands-on, it's a failure, isn't it? He could have sent somebody like everywhere else. So, our ideas of God are coming because we have no explanation for creation. What you're referring to as God is essentially that which is the source of creation, isn't it? Because you're human, you're imagining it has to be a big human being. Suppose you were a buffalo. You would definitely think it's a big buffalo. You heard of the Big Yak in Tibet? You've not seen? I went hunting for a Big Yak. I drove all over Tibet, took permissions and drove off-road everywhere to see the Big Yak because they told me the Big Yak from horn to horn is 6 feet wide. I wanted to see this animal. Oh my God, how would it be? Then after driving everywhere, I realized it's little got big in their heads. It's little bigger than the domesticated yak, but it got so big, they said it's 6 feet wide, the horns. And I said, I must see this. But there was no such animal anywhere in Tibet. So, if you are a buffalo, you would definitely think God is a big buffalo, isn't it? So our ideas of God are childish, but it is a fact that you and me did not make this creation happen. That's a fact, isn't it? But you don't know how it happened. With all the exploration of science, we still do not know how it exactly happened. Nobody knows, isn't it? You pay attention to a flower, to a leaf, to an ant, to an insect. If you pay enough attention, each one of them smacks of tremendous sense of intelligence, isn't it so? Hello? If you put filth to the root, it becomes a flower. Fantastic or no? Look at you. Look at you. Just the soil that you walk upon, look at you how you are sitting, became such a sophisticated machine, isn't it? So whatever is the source of creation, well, sappy people are saying God is love, desperate people are saying God is compassion, other people are saying now it's a in thing in North America, so God is empathy. They've not been hit by life yet. But if you pay enough attention to creation, because it is the presence of creation which has given you the idea of God in your head, isn't it? If there was no creation, you wouldn't think there is a God. If you pay enough attention to every piece of creation, what you will see is It's intelligence, 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 intelligence beyond what you can contain in your brains. Yes or no? But nobody said God is intelligence, unfortunately. If we had said that, definitely we would be populated with more intelligent human beings rather than the sappy ones. You know, our center is in Tennessee. We have a large center there. When I was new there, I walk into this town, which is a one-horse town, literally a small town. And I'm walking on the street and greeting people, smiling at them, thinking they'll be happy to see a new face. But it's a different kind of setup. I'm just at the right complexion. A shade darker than this cannot be there in that town. I'm just on the edge. So one big man, this wide, over 6 feet tall, comes and stands close to me. He looks down at me and says, "God loves us." Then I say, "The way you are, only God can love you." Before this went inside and worked, I had to go away. Because everybody is concocting their own ideas. Leave your ideas, pay attention to the creation. Tell me, if this flower has to blossom, nobody sprayed perfume to the roots, they put filth. Hello? They put manure. That manure became fragrance. This means, is there a tremendous amount of intelligence functioning in this rose plant? Hello? You ate a piece of bread and this became a human being. Is there a tremendous amount of intelligence beyond your brains functioning within you? Yes. So, this is the source of creation right now for you. If you access even one drop of that intelligence, you will live magically instead of becoming hallucinatory. If you believe things that you don't see, you will become hallucinatory. But if you access things which are not in your access right now, your life will get tremendously enhanced. That's what you should look at. Right now, there is an intelligence here which can turn a piece of bread into a human being. If I took a loaf of bread in my hands and made it into a human being, who would you think I am? You would think I am the source of creation, isn't it? Every one of you is doing this in your stomach, of course, not in your hands. But no access. So, if you don't have something, it's okay. But if you have it and you don't access it, this is a crime, isn't it? So my entire life's work is just this, so that you find access to the source of creation that also throbs within you. You're right now a piece of creation, that's fine, but you are also the source of creation within yourself. If you find access to that intelligence, you live in a magical way. Other people will think you're superhuman, but this is not about being superhuman. This is about realizing being human itself is super.
With respect to interpersonal promises and intrapersonal promises, I feel there are two types of promises that we make to others and to ourselves. How do we balance both of those, especially considering that sometimes we have to keep the interpersonal promises at the cost of your intrapersonal promises?
A promise is meaningful and valuable only when you make it to somebody else. Because you make a promise to somebody because they don't know what the hell you're going to do with them. Hello? That's the reason why they demand a promise from you, isn't it? Hello? You say, "I will give it to you." They'll say, "Promise?" Because you say one thing and you do another thing. So, promise is a meaningful thing only in a relationship with somebody. With yourself, what is there to promise? What is there to promise? Promise is a transaction between two people. It is like signing an agreement. See, we're making a business deal. We sign a contract. Why are we signing it? So that we don't go back on it, right? Because today what we think is very nice, tomorrow morning I may have a different perspective. So tomorrow morning if I have a different perspective, I want to change the deal tomorrow morning, but I have signed, can't go back on it. So, promise is a verbal signature. Done. I say, I promise. That means I'm going to do it. I've signed. Not held by some legal contract, but by my own integrity. Because I said so, I will do so. But when it comes to myself, what is there to promise? This people may be using to deal with their compulsive nature. I promise myself I will not drink before 7 o'clock in the evening. 7:45. Don't make such promises, because the only way, the only and only way you can handle your compulsiveness is with consciousness, just know this. There is simply no other way. Whatever commandments you have from elsewhere, whatever promises you make to yourself, whatever vows you take, they will all make you freaky. You may stop one thing, something else will happen when you forcefully make yourself do something within yourself. Can I tell you a joke? It's okay? But this is a serious question. It once happened, Shankaran Pillai offered. You can't do that. He is not always funny, sometimes he is serious. Shankaran Pillai offered a ride for an office colleague, a female office colleague, a young woman, because she didn't have a ride that day. So he was driving her, then suddenly he became like an octopus. That is, his limbs were all over her. She pushed him away and said, "You idiot, I got into your car thinking you're a decent fellow, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm sorry, I quit smoking." Don't do things forcefully with yourself. The only way you can beat compulsive process within you is by becoming more conscious. If there is darkness in this room, can all of you together, with all the strength that you have, can you kick the darkness out of this hall? Hello? No. If you just turn on the light, it's gone, isn't it? Because you must understand, compulsiveness is just absence of consciousness. Like darkness is just absence of light, compulsiveness is just absence of consciousness. Instead of becoming conscious, you're trying to play tricks with darkness. It's not going to work like that. If you compulsively, strongly stop one thing by will, it will manifest itself in some other way and some other way. No, you must become conscious. How to become conscious? That's another part.
Hi Sadhguru, how are you doing? So my question is that we learned that we are sophisticated machinery and that we must learn how that sophisticated machinery works. But how do we approach that? How do we go about learning how this sophisticated machinery works?
Unfortunately, we have created a movement in the world, education being the core of it. There are many other aspects. Education is the core of it, where it's always about conquering the world. Right from kindergarten, they're only asking who is number one, who is number two, who is number three, who is number last. It's always about being better than somebody, it's always about conquering something. See, conquest is one way of having things, but inclusion and embrace is another way of having things. If you have somebody in your life that you have conquered, I've conquered him and he has to be here, well, he will ensure that my life is miserable moment to moment. Yes or no? Daniel, can I trust you on that or no? Yes, you will. But if I have included him and he's here by choice, now he will be a great asset to have around me. This is a choice you have. But unfortunately, the orientation of the education is a consequence of the general attitude in the society. We have become a conquering mode. I think this is a fallout from the imperial way of existence that we have had for last 3 centuries. That we think we are powerful and we are good only when we have everybody at our feet. Well, with technology, with worldwide growth of human aspiration, having everybody at your feet, times are over. Everybody needs to come to their senses. Having people at your feet, those times are over. Because many things have changed in the last 1 century, that you cannot conduct the world that way. But still we have not managed to change the education system fundamentally. Here, still you're struggling, who conquers whom? When you want to race with somebody, or when you think life is a race, all you want to do is get to the finish line fast, isn't it? Hello? If entire life is a race, finish line is death, why don't you get there quick? Hello? Is that what you want? People are telling me that is also happening in the universities, unfortunately. That is also happening, most unfortunate. Why would a young person want to take his own life? But such a thing is happening, I'm telling you, in India in 2017, 18,600 students below 18 years of age committed suicide, below 18. Out of this, 7,400 students were below 15 years of age. Can you believe it? 12, 13, 14-year-old children taking their own life? What is it? If thousands of children below 15 years of age want to commit suicide, don't we realize that we are doing something fundamentally wrong? Hello? A child of 12, 13, 14 must be exuberant, full of life, excited about everything in the universe, but they want to kill themselves. And 99% of the time, it's because of the education system, the burden of the education system. Because not everybody is geared for being a conqueror. Many people feel distasteful when they have to conquer something. Some people feel like this. Other people, more sensitive people, feel horrible when they have to sit on somebody else's head. Hello? Yes or no? But the only way to succeed is that I must trample on you. It is distasteful for me. But if you don't give me any other way, I may do it, but when I can't do it, I'll do something else. This needs to be looked at. This is not an individual issue. This has become a global phenomenon. This is not in one place, this is not in one university. Schools, I'm saying below 18 years of age, below 15 years of age, when they want to take their own life, we are doing something very fundamentally wrong in the society. The main problem is this: we want everybody to be conquerors. Not everybody has a heart to be a conqueror. Not everybody wants to conquer anything. Hello? Everybody would want to explore, engage, understand, but not everybody wants to conquer. But we have set the whole world in a conquest mode. So the only way is all the sensitive people will get trampled, the crudest lot will get to the top. Not a good way to structure this society and this world. This needs to be addressed. The students, the youth of this world should take it up, bring it to a debate. Instead of debating all kinds of things, should we make marijuana legal or not, cocaine legal or not? You must debate this, that what form of education do we want, not just at the university, it must start at the kindergarten. Is it about making you into a sensitive, intelligent human being, or is it about making you a fighter who kills everybody and stands there like this over somebody's blood? If somebody falls down with bleeding injuries, I can't do this. Hello? Can you? All of you? Suppose I smash you up in the face and you fall down there bleeding, my heart will bleed, I can't do this when you're down. Very few people can do that, and they must remain few. Hello? They should not run this world, yes or no? Their numbers should remain few, they will always be there, but they must be few, and they should not be the empowered population of this world, ever, in future. In the past, it was so. Whoever had the biggest muscle, he was the boss, yes or no? Today if you have big muscles, at the most we'll put you at the security gate. So the world has changed. It's time we change the structures which make people. Education is an important process because nearly 90% of the human population is passing through that one sieve, isn't it? Hello? There are many other structures in a society. We may go there, we may not go there, but nearly 90% of human population is going through this one sieve called education. This sieve should become a sensitive, very humanistic sieve. This should not be an imperial sieve, this should not be, an Adolf Hitler or Alexander the Great kind of sieve. Right now we are trying to produce them. We are trying to produce them always. We are trying to produce tyrants who will enjoy other people's failures, isn't it? Hello? Yes. I want to be number one means what? I enjoy all of you have failed. Why? Why have we brought this about? It's time the youth of this world stand up and demand a more sensitive, humanistic education process for your own growth, well-being and the well-being of the world, because this world is yours tomorrow.
How do we counterbalance the power of social structures put on by popular culture? It feels like it sometimes holds youth in ignorance and has them carry out a swayed perception of self-worth, and can also lead people to destructive behaviors like drugs and alcohol because it's so cool. This is the most common thing amongst us young people. Marijuana, alcohol, bad habits, it's pushed onto us from pop culture. What do? We can't avoid it, it's everywhere. How can we stay on our path and ascend? It's human to fail in these habits, but it does not feel right. It is impossible to escape. What do?
I see it's a popular question. See, instead of looking at these things as moral stuff, whether it's right or wrong, because never have we been able to really decide what is right and what is wrong, isn't it? For thousands of years we have debated the same things without being able to arrive at what is truly right and what is truly wrong. One generation thinks this is it, next generation thinks that's trash. Yes or no? All the time. So let's look at it this way. to enhance your life. Is it the goal? Is it the reason why you're in the university? In some way you want to enhance your life, isn't it? Hello? Well, somebody wants money, somebody wants wealth, somebody wants knowledge, somebody wants relationships, somebody wants love. Why? Because you believe it'll enhance your life in some way, yes or no? Enhancement of life. We are not looking for money, power, love, anything. We are actually looking how this can be little more than what it is right now, isn't it? So if you want to be little more, is it important that all your faculties are little more heightened than what it is right now? I'm just saying for simple ways of looking at things. Suppose you could see better than the way you're seeing right now. Would your life be enhanced somewhat? Yes or no? If you could think better, see things better mentally, would your life be enhanced? So essentially, enhancement of your faculties is enhancement of life in many ways. This question is everywhere. Youth in India are asking me all the time, Sadhguru, you have influence in the government, why don't you make marijuana legal for us? I said, why marijuana? I'll make cocaine also legal. You want meth? We'll make that also legal. What's the problem? The problem is just this. So I asked them, see, let me take you, I'm a licensed pilot. So, not me, but we'll get another pilot for you. On a small plane, we'll take you on a nice ride. But the pilot comes smoked up. You want to fly? No, they don't say no, they say, because they think by smoking they're flying. Then I say, okay, you're not getting it. You need a major surgery, and the surgeon comes really smoked up. You want this surgery? Oh no! So you understand, it lowers your faculties. If you think by lowering your faculty, you will become better, then all the best. All the best, because you will need lot of luck and lot of blessings, because you will not live out of your own competence for sure. Yes or no? This is why I think everybody is talking empathy, compassion, because they don't want to live out of their own competence. They need other people's boost all the time. No. If you lower your faculties, your life gets lowered or high? Lowered. So never use the word high again. You say, I smoked and I'm low. This is not a moral issue for me. I have no morality in me. But life should work, isn't it? Suppose my eyes become dim, do I live better? I'm asking. Hello? If my mind becomes dim, do I live better? Why do people think by lowering faculties, life gets high? No, it doesn't. It's just giving you an illusion like that, for which you will pay a price. At this stage in your life, you must look for those things which will heighten your faculties, not lower your faculties, isn't it? If you're interested, you come, I'll show you why. Look at my eyes, I'm always stoned. Yes, look at me, never touch the substance. Because the greatest chemical factory on the planet is here. Hello? The question is only whether you're ecstatic or anxious is determined by, are you a good manager of this one or are you a lousy manager? That's all that is determining this. If you're a lousy manager, you're importing chemicals from outside. If you're a good manager, you're conducting this the way you want and blissed out all the time. If you want to… there is a high. When you can see better, hear better, think better, visualize better, there is a tremendous high with life. I want you to know that high, not foggy high. Thank you very much.